Four things I know are true. Peyton Manning is to Donovan McNabb what Joe Montana was to John Elway. Mike Martz coached the Rams like the greatest schmo on turf. Of course Vlad Guerrero chose the Angels over the Mets. And I'm Max Kellerman. You ever seen the OC? Hey now.
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Max Kellerman.
Welcome back to the show that always goes for it on fourth down. We're breaking down the great NFL weekend, the return of Roger Clemens and Howard Stern versus Rush Limbaugh, all with our national panel, and here they are. At the Los Angeles Times, it is Bill Plash.
Today is the 25th anniversary of Joe Namath's guarantee, and I guarantee I'll get points for that.
At the Denver Post,
why?
Woody Page.
D.O. double jizzle in the hizzle. Right on.
All right, there you go, Woody. At the Chicago Sun-Times, it is Jay Mariotti. Yep. And at the Boston Globe, it's Michael Holley. What do you say, Michael?
I got to give the Plasky salute. How could he not give the salute?
There you go. You got 2 points for the salute. We're the show that scores the argument. And here's how I do it, always very fairly, with these joysticks and mute buttons. See, this is a mute button. I go like that, it mutes a guy. I give these guys points based on point of view, style, and information. Good answers get 2, straight ones 3, and I've used the mute button so far today twice on Jay Mariotti. We eliminate guys, so a one-on-one showdown determines the winner. Let's make it happen.
It's the first word.
The first words are fly, Eagles, fly. Down a touch late, Donovan McNabb made an unbelievable scrambling TD pass to tie Philly up with the Packers Sunday. Up 3, Green Bay coach Mike Sherman chose a punt over a 4-and-a-foot play. McNabb then produced an all-time Eagle moment for the 4th and 26 conversion of Freddie Mitchell on the way to a tying field goal. In OT, Brett Favre threw Packers' destiny into double coverage, and the waiting arms of the Eagles' Brian Dawkins and the ensuing field goal put Philly in the NFC Championship game again. Guys, did the Eagles win it, or did the Packers give it away? Around the Horn and Michael Holley, and I saw that, Woody. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, the Eagles won it. I heard you reference Fly Like an Eagle, the only good song by Stevie Miller, by the way. Yeah. But we got to get over this era in sports where we're blaming coaches for plays that, players make plays. 4th and 26. The Eagles made a play. You got to give them credit. You got to give Donovan McNabb credit. They were in a 3-2 dime coverage, and they still came up with the play. Now, if Mike Sherman had gone for that on 4th and 1 and they don't get it, the Eagles are in excellent field position. They lose the game. I mean, come on, guys.
No, Michael, you're right. Players make plays. Mike Sherman of the Packers didn't give his players a chance to make a play.
He did.
They were inches from going to Carolina, inches away, and he didn't trust them. He punted the ball, and as it turns out, they only gained about 20 yards in the process. It was a complete, the Packers gave this game away. They had it. Plus, Brett Favre had been getting away with these lobs all last 6 weeks. He didn't get away with the lob.
Getting a little lucky. It's true, Plasky. He's been getting a little lucky.
This is the conquest of Donovan McNabb. I mean, my God, 4th and 26. Certain plays define great players. He needed an over-the-top play in his career. He completes it. To me, it reminds me a lot of Elway. 98 yards in Denver is what he knows. With a minute and change left, look at what this man has been through this year. He's overcome Rush Limbaugh. He's going to the Super Bowl. This was all about McNabb. Tough luck for the Packers.
Woody?
Destiny can't overcome bad coaching decisions. And you're right, Bill. Players make plays if they're allowed to. First of all, you got Martz making a bad call. If you can't pick up 1 yard on 4th down, you don't deserve to win. And secondly, what in the world was Brett Favre thinking with that pass? The Eagles didn't win the game. He threw it up like a ball hit the center field. Of course he was going to be caught.
Okay, Plasky, go ahead.
Yeah, and Jay, I realize Donovan McNabb is a Chicago guy, and you're on his bandwagon now until the end of January. But don't you dare compare him what John Elway did in the drive. I was there for the drive. It was an incredible play after play. This was a throw to Freddie Mitchell, who was wide open.
Jay's just saying it's a defining kind of play in his career thus far. Michael, last word.
I'm going to say, how is it bad coaching? If you put your team, you got your defense in a 4th and 26 situation, that's what you want. That's not bad coaching. Coverage,
the guy made a play. Because it's the kind of decision you make in order not to lose, not the kind of decision you make to win. It's not a go for the jugular, win the game kind of decision. And it cost them. Next topic.
You got to be in a 4-1-6.
Next topic. I can think of a team whose defense would have absolutely slowed down Peyton Manning yesterday, Woody. However, That team played in Chicago 19 years ago.
That's
the Colts
right.
QB put on a demonstration of offense not seen in pro football since, well, last week against Denver. He was 22 for 30 with 3 TDs, no picks, and Indy didn't punt all day in a 38-31 win over the defenseless Kansas City Chiefs. Guys, anyone think Peyton Manning has anything left to prove? Around the horn to Jay Mariotti.
Oh, sure he does. Win the Super Bowl. I mean, he has been groomed since birth to be a great quarterback. We were all about to anoint him as one of the greats of all time. You've got to go out and win a Super Bowl to become state-of-the-art right now. I mean, Trent Dilfer, Max, won a Super Bowl. That's going to be a tough assignment in New England. I was there on Saturday night. That defense, the fans, it's probably...
Yes, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, and people point to that as an example of why the greatest quarterbacks don't always win Super Bowls. Woody.
Jabroni never knows. It's always about proving to you, Mariotti. The guy's gone out and had the 2 best back-to-back games in the history of the playoffs. Do you think Marino's any good? He never won a Super Bowl. John Elway was a great quarterback. He finally defined it by winning back-to-back Super Bowls. We know now that Manning will win a Super Bowl. He has proven he can win playoff games. He has proven, as I've told you guys all season, he's one of the best in
But he has not proven he can win a Super Bowl yet, Plaschke.
Woody, you answered our question for us. You said Elway finally defined it, quote-unquote, about winning a Super Bowl. You made our point for us. John Elway was 10-7 in the playoffs before he won a Super Bowl, and people said he wasn't a winner yet. Manning's still 2-3. Let's give it a little bit of time, shall we?
But weren't those people talking about Elway wrong, Plaschke?
No, I think you have to get to the Super Bowl, at least get there. Rito got there, Jim Kelly got there. You have to at least get there.
Michael Howard.
Hey, he has nothing to prove. Look, this guy, Dan Marino, threw 420 touchdown passes, didn't win a Super Bowl. Fran Tarkenton was a great Hall of Fame quarterback, didn't win a Super Bowl. From the start, from his rookie year, he has had success. Well, you know, one thing he hasn't had, and he still doesn't have, is a great defense. Why do we put it all on the quarterback? He makes everybody look foolish right now. To criticize Peyton Manning after the last 2 games is foolish.
Look, they're talking about this guy being in a zone right now, but you've got to seal the deal. Michael Jordan used to be in a zone.
God, that's a
he sealed the deal 6 times. Do it once, Peyton.
Guys, I got to say, I agree with Jay. I'm not saying Peyton Manning might not be the best quarterback in football right now, but his legacy won't be complete. I know it's early in his career to talk legacy until he wins a Super Bowl. And Woody, we don't know he can win a Super Bowl. He won a couple early rounds playoff games. Let's see how he does.
Defense, he can.
That's a valid point. Not his fault. The defense ain't on Peyton. You can't blame Peyton Manning for the defense. Buy yourselves next.
Coming up, what was Mike Martz thinking while this play was happening? Whatever it was, he's got 6 months to go over it. Plus, the Patriots are wicked hard to beat at Gillette. So can Indy win on that increasingly hallowed ground? To the Horn!
Around the Horn, brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of the meat lovers and veggie lovers pizza. Try one today.
Buy or sell?
Buy or sell time. Let's keep it moving. First topic. Rams head coach Mike Martz with his team at the Carolina 15 with 39 seconds remaining in regulation would not let Mark Bulger take a shot at the end zone and settled for a game-tying field goal. The Panthers then went on to win in double OT on Steve Smith's 69-yard TD reception. In today's USA Today, John Saraceno says, if the Rams fired Martz today, which they won't, no one in St. Louis would be upset, nor should they be. He coached not to lose. I don't want a guy like that on my sideline. Buy or sell Mike Martz. Plaschke.
I'm selling this because the message he sent to the entire organization, from the quarterback down to the beer vendor, is that we don't play to win here, we play to tie. How can they live with themselves with that kind of message?
Woody?
I'm buying. What is it with Mikes? Mike Sherman, Mike Martz, Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren? They all screwed up bad.
So you're
That means you're selling, Woody.
He's selling Mikes. Go ahead, Jay.
In the playoffs, you do not roll the dice nervously. You go for it. This is the guy who's made his name on going for the jugular, and he turns into a coward in January.
Yep.
Sell.
Holly.
No, I'm going to sell that. I'm going to sell Martz, but I'm not going to go with fire the guy. I don't think he should be fired for that. I think the style of play, though, he needs to change the style of play. He's got 2 bookend tackles in Turley and Pace, and needs to run behind those guys.
Wait, Michael, I thought players make plays, so it's not about the coaches. Why
I said, I'm not going to fire him.
Plaschke, he said he's not going to fire him. It's true. Next topic. It was cold in the Klondike Saturday at Foxborough, where the Patriots ground out another big playoff win. They beat the gutty Titans 17-14 when Drew Bennett followed 2 circus catches with a straight drop of Steve McNair's final pass of the season. The Pats' 13-game win streak is the second longest in NFL history. Buy or sell the Patriots' defense as the best one left in the playoffs. Woody.
I want to go back to that first question. I don't think I understood it correctly. I am selling this one, though. Let's see what happens after this week against the Colts. Then we can ask that question. Until then, it's not
Okay, that's fair. Jay?
I'm buying. I'm still freezing my arse off from Saturday, but it was well worth the entertainment. I mean, Belichick is state-of-the-art. Did you see the play Willie McGinnis made? They were about to pull another gadget play, and they were prepared for it. Nobody's going into Fox.
Let's keep it moving. Holly.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this. Statistically, they're the number 1 team in the playoffs. They've given up the least amount of points in the regular season, and they haven't had any kind of problems at home.
Fewest number of points. Fewest number of points. Not least amount. What a Plashke.
I'm buying this, and forget the stats. The fact that New England is in Indianapolis' head. Remember, they held Indianapolis 4 times on the 1-yard line in their earlier meeting this year. Goal line stand of the year. They're the best defense.
New England has the best defense, guys. Come on. Those 13 wins without a running game. How do you think they're winning these games? Who said no to New England? Who? I forgot already. Next
14
topic.
wins.
The Houston Astros have swayed 6-time Cy Young winner and first ballot Hall of Famer Roger Clemens out of his brief retirement and into a 1-year deal. Clemens will reportedly get $5 million, pitch close to home, and is reunited with new Astro Andy Pettitte. Buy or sell Clemens' decision to come back, Mariotti?
I'm going to buy that. I'm going to say that the Astros are now the team to beat in the National League Central. Maybe that will inspire the Cubs to go sign Pudge and Greg Maddux. What are you guys?
Mariotti, you got to love it. He uses it to propagandize the Cubs. Go ahead, Michael.
I'm going to buy the decision to come back. He didn't really need to retire, but I'm going to sell his approach. Why didn't he just say, we'll see at the end of the year? Why string us all along and then come back? I hate that.
Fair. Bill?
No, I'm buying this, and I'm selling Holly's comment about why did he string us out. People do that. They're human beings. When you retire, you don't know what it's going to be like after you're retired. You don't know how you're going to feel. Give him a break. I'm glad he's back. 15,
how do you know?
Well, let's talk to someone who does know. Woody Page.
I'm buying. I'm disappointed that he came back after he said he wanted to retire for his family.
Okay.
But I'm buying the fact that he does make Houston now the prohibitive favor in the National League. That's worth coming back for.
I don't know about prohibitive. I would say it's fair to say that they are the best team in the National League unless the Cubs get Pudge. But you know what? Saying he's retiring for his family, I think he's coming back for his family, too. They get to watch him. They live a couple miles from the stadium. His kids get to watch him pitch in their hometown. You can't hold it against them.
Walt Miller.
The Anaheim Angels, who already signed Bartolo Colon, Kelvin Escobar, and Jose Guillen this offseason, reportedly locked up slugger Vladimir Guerrero to a 5-year, $70 million deal. Guerrero turned down offers from the Orioles and Mets. Buy or sell the Angels as the most improved team in the American League, Holly?
I'm going to sell that. The Angels won the World Series in 2002. They didn't have that far to go. How about the Baltimore Orioles signing Miguel Tejada, Javi Lopez, and Rafael Palmeiro?
It's a lot of runs. Flashkey.
No, I'm buying this. The Angels fell really far last year, so they're coming back from that. Also, people don't realize Troy Gloss had laser surgery a couple weeks ago. His eyes were always a problem. Now his eyes are as better than they've ever been. That's a huge improvement.
Regained that form from a couple of years ago. Woody?
I'm selling it. First of all, you should know that a couple of miles from the Houston ballpark is nothing. So you don't even know anything beyond
20 miles. Why don't you ever answer the question we ask? You're always on a delay. No, now you don't get to answer it. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I'm selling. Here's a 5-point answer. I mean, it's all relative. Schilling, Volk, the Red Sox are keeping Williamson. Where were the Red Sox? Here? Now they've taken a leap higher.
Okay.
And I'm still in the middle of the clutter, if you ask me. So
I give you 2 points, but Jay, the Red Sox had so many players having career years offensively. Some of those guys are going to come down to earth a little bit. So how are they the most improved? No, Jay, no time to answer. You have been eliminated. You've been on the show long enough to know how it works. You had the fewest points. Hey, not the least points, Holly. The fewest points. And so you're not in the next round. Out of Bounds is next.
Coming up, everybody loves cartoon violence, especially among mascots. But can lovable sideline honks go too far? Blah. So the NCAA thinks Snoop Dogg is inappropriate for collegiate athletics. Should Miles Brand open his eyes and look around? The Hornizzle. It's around the horn. We're after 2 rounds. Here's how they stand. Mr. Michael Holly has 19. Bill Plaschke, look up. You've got 20. Woody Page has 17, and Jizzle Mary Izzle got the old Eliminizzle. And Nizzle, it's out of Bizzle!
It's out of bounds where it's all inbounds. First topic. You remember those BCS ads Snoop did about the ultimate bling? NCAA President Miles Brand apparently didn't like them. He called the ads inappropriate for the college game and added, "I'm going to be the force and the voice of bringing integrity to the collegiate model." Does Miles Brand have a point, Michael Holley?
Of course he doesn't. What does he mean by integrity? Is integrity the ACC expanding to 12 teams for more money? Is integrity hoarding all the BCS money for the top conferences and not having to play off because it's all about millions? Is integrity selling a collegian's jersey, but he can't get paid, he can't benefit from the dollars that his school makes? I don't know what he means by integrity. He's a joke.
Miles Brand's checking yes next to those questions. Go ahead, Bill.
No, Michael, I think you're right. Everything you say is right. But two wrongs don't make a right. In this case, I think Brand is right. I was at the Sugar Bowl, and you saw Snoop on the TV and on the big screen. And this is a guy, the last time he was in New Orleans, he was named in a federal lawsuit that's still pending against him for using underage actresses and giving them drugs for his videos. This is a guy who's known for his marijuana use.
You should go back to looking at
is not the best role model.
Go back to looking at your notes, Bill. Let's talk about what really went on. Miles Brand needs to get out on the campuses and see what students and athletes are there. He'd know that these are the kind of kids that like Snoop Dogg. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. He is the dog father. He's gin and juice. You don't understand, Plasky. You got to get down with the hizzle.
But there's all kinds.
Go ahead, Bill.
There's all kinds of kids, all kinds of singers that these kids like who don't profess drugs, who don't get named in lawsuits, who don't have all kinds of trouble.
All right, Bill, listen, Mr. Morality staying consistent at least. You got to respect that. Next topic. The Associated Press reports that Vili the Warrior, mascot of the University of Hawaii, is under fire from opponents and school officials for being too boisterous. He apparently threw a bracelet at an Alabama cheerleader and tackled their elephant mascot in their bowl game. And now everyone's riled up. Guys, can a college mascot really take it too far? Bill?
Absolutely they can, and I've seen this guy, and this guy has taken it too far. There's one thing to be dressed up in a huge costume when you hit somebody, it doesn't hurt as much. This is the only mascot, I believe, who's a real dude, who's a real huge guy, who goes around with no big costume, no padding, and he beats the crap out of other mascots. I think it's out of control.
I think it's great. Here's a guy who just stepped out of a luau, who's having a good time at the games. He's not hurting anybody. The guy loves his program, the Rainbow Warriors. It's all about the Hawaiian tradition and the natives there who were overcome by people like you,
Come on.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead, Holly.
So look, mascots can be a distraction. A lot of times you're just trying to watch the game. You don't even want them to bother you. And I don't care if they're being violent or not. You just don't want them. You don't want them around. And if this guy is going around hurting people, yeah, he is going too far.
Yeah.
He's not hurting anybody.
Well, is he hurting anybody or not, Bill?
Yeah, he may be hurting the very tradition what he says he's trying to support. He may be hurting that tradition. This is not the Hawaiian tradition.
Flasky, that's a stretch. It's not enough of a stretch to get you into the next round. In fact, it's too much of a stretch to get you into the next round. Hurting the tradition. I see what you tried to do there. But no, what is it? It's young youth versus ancient old age in the showdown coming up next.
Coming up, the next time you see Britney in a saloon, be a real friend and don't buy her around. The Horn!
Why the Rocket will lift off once again. How Belichick plans to find flaws in Peyton's perfection. And as we reveal the top 25, should Stanford be number 1? SportsCenter, 6 Eastern, ESPN.
Showdown time, but first, disembodied voice.
Yes, Max.
Wasn't that a great football weekend?
I was watching Scott Hamilton and friends. The Miami Dolphins have just named Dan Marino as their general manager, and Coach John Fox says Stephen Davis is questionable for Sunday's game against Philly with a strained groin.
Strained groin usually makes me questionable for Vegas. First topic. A few question marks need to be answered over the Rams offseason. None more pressing than their quarterback issue. Mark Bulger's 3 picks in Saturday's loss to the Panthers did not help his cause for next season. Who should the Rams start at QB in 2004? Bulger or Kurt Warner, 15 seconds each? Holly.
Oh, that's pretty easy. I've said all along their best quarterback is Kurt Warner. He struggled in week 1 because Mike Martz put him in the game. The guy had a concussion. Look, he's a former NFL MVP. He takes chances, but Balger takes chances too. Balger had 22 interceptions
Michael,
this year.
you'll find with experience that you're not afraid to change your mind when you've been proven wrong. And I was wrong. Balger is 18-3 as a starter. He proved this year that he can get the Cardinals.
The Cardinals?
Nevertheless, Woody, I agree with you. Look at Bulger's record. Next topic.
Quiz show. This show is quiz show.
Number 1, UConn destroyed number 7 Oklahoma Sunday, 86-59. Mecca Okafor led the Huskies with 21 points, 10 boards, and 9 blocks. Guys, is UConn easily the best team in college basketball? 15 seconds each. Woody?
I got to go with it now, and that's what I was saying about changing my mind. Kevin Sampson, the coach at Oklahoma, is a guy that I have complete faith in. He said after the loss to Connecticut that this was the best team he had faced in 10 years. And I think if he says it, I got to go along with it.
Michael, go ahead, correct them.
What are you talking about, Kelvin Sampson,
Yeah.
the coach of Oklahoma? Look, no team in college basketball right now is clearly better than the other. This is the age of parity. UConn's a good team. My very great friend, Rick Pitino, down in Louisville. His team, got to watch out for them. Kentucky, Duke, too many teams.
Not only that, but in a sport where the best team doesn't always win one game in the tournament, it's one and done. Michael, I agree with you. Plus, Woody, you get one thing right in this show. Last topic. 2 giants of radio, Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh, celebrated birthdays today. Howard Stern turned 50. Think about that. Limbaugh, 53. Who's had the bigger impact on radio, Stern or Limbaugh? 30 seconds for the game. Holly, go.
Unfortunately, it's Rush Limbaugh. I'm not a fan of the man's, but he has one of the most popular radio shows in the country. He brought a brand of conservatism to the radio, and it was entertaining. He's got a lot of people who follow him, and there are a lot of Rush Limbaugh knockoffs out there, too. He looks silly after Donovan McNabb yesterday, though.
He just speaks out to the people who agree with him. Howard Stern established a format style in this country that is on every station in the country. He's influenced an entire generation. Whether you like him or not, the fact that Howard Stern with the movie, with his show, has influenced
Besides the fact that Stern is better on the radio, it's not like Limbaugh came and now you have a conservative network of talk radio because of Limbaugh, but now you do have shock jocks everywhere because of Howard Stern. Stern and Limbaugh. You're going to take Limbaugh on this show? Are you crazy? Woody, you win. 15 seconds of yours.
98 years ago, the most significant rule in sports was made. And I'm not talking, guys, about the DH. I'm not talking about the three-pointer. I'm talking about the forward pass was put into law by the NCAA. It's the one thing they did right. Imagine the weekend games if Manning had only been able to hand off.
That's going to do it, folks. We're on a 23-and-a-half-hour break. See you Tuesday around the horn. And happy birthday, Howard Stern. 50. Can you believe that?
Yeah, Woody, I was thinking 98 years ago there was a three-pointer that was introduced.
Around the Horn is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For up-to-the-minute sports information, log on to ESPN.com.
Hated defending.
No one else is impressed by that? Stern turning 50. It doesn't impress.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, everybody's criticizing Mike Martz. It's so unfair. Mike, stick around. I got your back.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and Mike, don't do it! Turn off the TV, it's a trap.
Not a trap, I got your back. Dog?
Yeah, he's your dog. Like, who's your daddy? Welcome to PTI, boys, girls, and grown men in powder blue football jerseys.
Thank you.
Lance Hall's all-work jersey, very, very nice. In today's episode, Mike Sherman elects to punt, Mike Martz plays for overtime, and Roger Clemens comes out of retirement. I believe I had that one, right?
You gloat.
We're going to spend the entire first segment on the NFL playoff games, and we're going to start with the one game where the team that lost really should have won. Green Bay had a 17-14 lead on Philadelphia with less than 3 minutes to go. And with less than a minute and a half to go, the Eagles faced a 4th and 26. Wilbon, you were in Philly. At 4th and 26, how many people believed the Philadelphia Eagles would win that game?
I don't know, but they all had to be in that stadium. I probably think just in on that sideline and in that huddle. 4th and 26. I've covered a lot of great games. I covered the drive. I was in Cleveland for the drive. Elway never had to go 4th and 26. I remember a 3rd and 13. But, Tony, it's not something you practice. You don't practice that situation. You don't cover it.
It is a terrible mistake by Green Bay in this regard. You cannot let a guy go 26.5 yards down the field, down the middle of the field, unimpeded. If you make 4th and 26, you make it with a 12-yard pass and a 14-yard run, something like that. Not like this. McNabb made that play, and McNabb made a great play to get to 14-14 when he should have been thrown down, and he wasn't thrown down because he's very, very strong. To me, though, the two critical calls were both by Mike Sherman.
That's right.
At the end of the first half, he went 4th and goal from the 1, which I believe he should have.
I would have kicked the field goal.
No.
We were talking on the phone at the time. You said you would have gone for it. It backfired. A 10-point lead would have been huge.
It backfired. The guard came out, and the runner
tripped over the
fell
guard.
over the guard.
That's
but
right.
then I would have gone with 2.5 to go and 4th and 1. I would have gone listening to Troy Aikman calling the game, saying, you do this and you win the game. Mike Sherman instead held off, tried to get them to jump, and punted. And it didn't, ultimately didn't work.
But here's why. Look, I thought you could run out the clock and make the first down there. And you still got the same Ahman Green. The same guy you wanted to go with 4th and inches to the goal line. You got him on 4th and slightly more than 1.
So you're saying you would have gone?
I would have. But here's why I'm not going to be wildly critical of Mike Sherman. 4th and 26.
That's right. No, ultimately it should have worked. It should have worked out.
And they sacked the daylights out of
McNabb. Let me tell you who breathes a sigh of relief in Philadelphia. Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb. McNabb played great in the second half, not great in the first half. Had they lost that game, second straight time out of the playoffs at home, third straight out, and people would have been saying, are they right for this city?
Won.
They won. They won.
Give
The
some credit
Eagles
to who?
won. Donovan F. McNabb.
Thank you. In a weekend of fabulous quarterback play, nobody came close to Peyton Manning. He may be on the greatest postseason roll since Joe Montana threw 11 touchdowns and no interceptions in the 1989 playoffs. Manning has thrown 8 touchdowns, no picks, and has piled up 681 yards in 2 games. His punter hasn't worked in 2 weeks. The Chiefs' defense was like a 98-pound weakling getting sand kicked in his face. So, Tony, as bad as the Chiefs' D is, once they got within 7, should Dick Vermeil have opted for an onside kick with more than 4 minutes to play? That's a lot of time.
Well, I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Did the Kansas City Chiefs, after not doing the onside kick, did they ever get the ball back?
8 seconds.
Was it time to do what? Time to do what? So, yes. So you go for the onside kick. Maybe you're buoyed by the fact that the day before, when St. Louis makes the onside kick, it's the greatest onside kick anybody's ever seen.
Turf.
I think you have to do it. Kansas City's defense never stopped them once. Today in the Kansas City Star, our friend Jason Whitlock called for the defensive coordinator, Greg Robinson, to be fired because he let the team down. The defense let the team down. You were the guy who said they would not win a single game in the playoffs because of why?
I don't know
because of the defense.
29th in the league.
Okay.
But I don't know that I blame the defensive coordinator.
Who do you blame?
When the Kansas City Chiefs were drafting, why did they draft Larry Johnson, a running back out of Penn State with the first pick? See, here's what that's called. Dumb. Because they knew, yes, they signed Vonnie Holiday and they signed the kid from the Redskins, the linebacker, Sean Barber, but they didn't bolster the defense. They didn't have the defensive lineup to win.
You talked about Ahman Green before, gained over 150 yards.
159.
Over 150 yards.
Yeah.
Automatically, their teams win. Did they win? Neither team won with this great running attack. I thought this game, and I told you this on the air, would go 41-38, and I was close.
It was insane.
Neither team, no punts by either team.
Peyton Manning is so hot. I don't think I've ever seen a guy. Montana, Steve Young had a great season on the way to the Super Bowl, like 8-0 in terms of TDs, interceptions.
Trent Green's wide receivers let him down. They dropped a couple of balls, and they made an offensive interference call on Tony Gonzalez. That was a bad call.
Bad call.
All year long, Wilbon, you're going to love this, you've been knocking Mike Martz.
Me?
No, not true. For 3 years, you've been knocking Mike Martz. And this time, there's a big crowd of people with you. With the score 23-20 in favor of Carolina, and the Rams having just scored a touchdown and just recovered the greatest onside kick I've ever seen, where the kick went backwards, now holding the ball inside the Carolina 20, Mike Martz did not attempt to go for the win. He let the clock run down in the last minute, took a field goal to go into overtime. As you watched that, Wilbon, what were your thoughts at the time?
I was in disbelief. I watched it from the New England Patriots press box as I got ready to cover that game, and I'm watching it with 100 of the sports writers, a few scouts, and ex-players, not just media people.
But you loved it.
No, I didn't.
No, you loved it because you called me up and you said, what do you think of what your boy's doing now?
Maybe I liked it a little bit. Tony, I was in disbelief. Here's a guy who's pedal to the metal on offense. He talks about being bold. He talks about being aggressive, and you know what he is? He is true to that philosophy until then. You got to take a shot. I don't mean throw it. You can toss it wide to Marshall Faulk. You can throw a screen to Marshall Faulk. You've got to go for the win at home.
When they got the touchdown that they needed in a two-point conversion, Marshall Faulk was great in that drive. When they got the ball back on this great onside kick, Marshall Faulk was great in that drive.
What did I sit here and say Friday?
You have
Marshall Faulk is your
to
advantage.
do it. Now,
he's your ace
now, in retrospect, as you watch the next day, as you watch the Philadelphia game, when one pass is almost intercepted in the end zone and McNabb is almost sacked and time would have run out, maybe you think differently. But at that time, if you're Mike Martz, if you believe in momentum and you believe in your team, you go. It says to me he doesn't believe in his quarterback, Mark Belcher.
I don't know what his... Yes, I believe that, but then he blames him, too. Publicly, he said, oh, I was worried about a tip pass or a pick, and he had thrown 3 picks. But, Tony, you've got Marshall Faulk. Going for it doesn't mean throwing it automatically or flip it to him, shovel pass, whatever you want to do.
You know what?
You got to try to score in regulation.
I still thought that St. Louis would win that game when they took the field goal down from Casey. When they said because they took a delay of game penalty. And then they didn't get the field goal. I still thought St. Louis would win. The field goal they tried missed by this much, from like 5,000 yards.
It's ridiculous. The least controversial, but perhaps the best played game might have been Titans at Patriots. There were no debatable coaching decisions. Just Tom Brady and Steve McNair playing phenomenally in weather suited only for penguins and polar bears. And Tennessee's Drew Bennett dropped a lob pass at the 15 with 1:38 left that probably would have sent that game into OT at the very least. Instead, the Patriots won their 13th straight game. Tony, did Tennessee, however, do anything that should give the rest of the field hope against the hottest team in football?
No, because the hottest team in football beats you short, beats you long. At the end of every game, they win. Key number, 13th straight win. Now, you know I think that Tom Brady's the MVP of the league. Tom Brady has now at home, he's 9-0 this year at home. He has no interceptions.
How many
at
passes?
Home. 282 passes attempted. He has no interceptions. We have to steer away from the game for a second because you were there. How cold? Seriously. How cold?
Hey, look, I'm from Chicago. I've been cold. This was so cold. The mucus in your nose freezes. The condensation in your mustache freezes. Okay? No cheerleaders with abs out.
Right.
Cold.
How many people
below
spelling out Go Pats with their shirts off in the stands?
Teddy Bruschi said he saw one. I saw none, and I was looking for him.
That was a great game. Under the conditions, that was a great game.
The way they played with very few turnovers and as hard as they played, I thought, you know what? There wasn't anything lacking in that game. You couldn't say there was no D like any other AFC game.
You and I differ on the Patriots in this regard. You believe their time has to run out because they keep winning and winning. I believe that bodies tend to remain in motion. Why are they going to lose now? They're at home again this week. Why are they going to lose?
They're the best team. Because I think it's too physically difficult to go all the way through and win the Super Bowl. They may win this weekend and lose
Miami
on
Dolphins
February 1.
did it. It's been
one team forever.
Okay.
One team.
How many teams have had this long a streak? Probably none.
I think only one other. I think only one.
The Dolphins.
That's it.
And so they don't have to believe that they actually can and will do it.
It's so hard to do.
We're taking a break. What's really hard to do is for me to sit here and look at that shirt. When we come back, should Mike Martz's job be in jeopardy after Saturday's game? And later, Roger Clemens plays again, just like I said he would. Give me some dap, Wilbon.
Dap, 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 dap.
What is that?
Credit card.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant. And in part by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And Time Warner Cable.
Since Saturday, Mike Martz has become America's favorite punching bag. Here to tell us whether we should stop swinging is the big man from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Bernie Mickless. Bernie, the reaction in St. Louis, is it as critical of Martz as it has been throughout the rest of the country?
Tony, maybe even more so because throughout the last 4 years, although Mike Martz overall has done a very good job as the head coach of this football team, his in-game decisions continue to baffle and perplex all the Rams fans everywhere. And as good as this team is, you hold your breath in games because you sit there thinking, okay, where's the blow-up going to be? What is he going to do this time that screws things up? It's been a continual pattern. Every time you think it's going to get better or it has gotten better, comes another situation that we saw on Saturday.
You were with him after the game. What did he look like after the game? What did he sound like after the game?
Well, first of all, he was dazed that he just lost. Second of all, I think he totally underestimated what the critical negative reaction would be to his decision to sit on the ball late in the fourth quarter and kick the field goal instead of playing for the win. I even told him, I said, Mike, I like you, but you realize you were going to get hammered from coast to coast. He was very firm, polite, but adamant. I did the right thing. I will always feel that I did the right thing by playing for the field goal. I think about 50 million people who watch that game believe otherwise.
Bernie, I'm one of them, and I was pretty stunned, I got to tell you. When I heard him talk about fearing a tipped pass or an interception, it sounded to me as if he was blaming Mark Bulger. Is that a fair assessment?
That's 100% correct, Mike. I think the big repercussion out of this game, other than the fact that Mike Martz is going to be hounded all offseason, is that he showed no trust, no faith, no confidence whatsoever in the young quarterback, Bulger, whom he had put into the lineup in place of a two-time MVP, Kurt Warner, and whom Mike Martz supported to the degree that he would ridicule people who suggested that he should play Warner. Now, with the game on the line, the season on the line, the reputation of the greatest show on turf on the line, Mike Martz was like the lion tamer who took a look at the lion and ran the other way. And it was not much of a state of support, to say the least, for Mark Bulger. And I think it raises a question whether he can bring Bulger back and sell him to that team, to that locker room, as their starting quarterback for next season.
Well, Bernie, I'm wondering if there's a chance that St. Louis can bring the coach back, Mike Martz. Do they have to bring him back, and can they sell him to that team again? And they got Lovie Smith sitting right there, but he may be going elsewhere. I mean, are we certain that Mike Martz is not in any trouble, is what I'm asking you?
I would say, Mike, there's no indication whatsoever from upper management of this franchise that Mike Martz is in any kind of trouble. I think he's probably going to get hollered at behind closed doors, and they're going to interrogate him as if he's on trial. But I think he's the coach of this football team next season. I don't think that changes. I do think, though, they've got a major quarterback situation first and forefront, because he didn't have faith in Kurt Warner, even though they paid him $11 million this past season in signing bonus and salary. Wouldn't even put him into any kind of game after the first game of the season except to mop up at Detroit in the 16th week, even though he said, if Bulger falters, I won't hesitate to bring Kurt into the game against Carolina. When he had the chance to do it, he didn't do it. He has no faith in Warner. He obviously has very little confidence in Bulger with the game on the line. So you tell me who the quarterback should be.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thanks, Bernie.
Bernie Miklasz, boys and girls. We're taking a break. When we come back, should the refs have forced David Akers to re-kick yesterday's winning field goal? And Roger Clemens joined the Astros. Have I mentioned that I had that one right?
1,000 times
Really?
now. 1,000.
Really?
One show, okay?
Oh.
How many times? How much dap do you want?
How much is this?
That's a lot of dap in the world.
Mail Time is brought to you by MSN Instant Messenger. How can the butterfly help you? Find out at msn.com.
Time to talk about Roger Clemens' return to baseball. You know, Wilbon, I don't want to brag, but I believe if you check the tape, I had that one right.
Fourth time.
Let's get the first email.
Get
Go
on
ahead.
with it. Mail time.
I don't
Mail
get
time.
it right
Stop
that often.
bragging. Roger Clemens signed to play for the Houston Astros next season. Should he have returned to return the Hummer that George Steinbrenner gave him as a retirement gift?
Steinbrenner doesn't need a Hummer, does he?
I don't know.
He gave it to him for his past services, not for what he was going to do. Here's the important thing.
What?
Roger Clemens never had any intention, I don't believe, of retiring, nor should he. He, by the way, never officially retired. He filed for free agency.
So why did he bother saying it? What was the point?
I guess
he could have just
wanted
said,
to
I'm
leave the
free now.
Yankees.
I'm going to
He wanted
Texas.
to leave the Yankees.
We left.
This is a good thing. He won 17 games
Not a
last
good thing
year.
if you're a Cub fan.
Okay,
Not
well,
a good thing for me.
He's one of the 10 best pitchers still in baseball, and I'm glad he's continuing to pitch.
I'm not. Let him pitch in New York.
You always bring everything back to the Cubs.
Yes.
Don't you want to see
You
him pitch?
brought it back to New York.
No, I didn't. Don't you
He
want
didn't need to come back
Don't
to
you
New
want to
York.
see him pitch?
He has a lot left. He has
Okay.
a lot left
What
in
team is going to buzz him the first time up in the National League? Which team?
I
huh?
hope the Cubs.
Which time?
But it won't be.
No, you and the Cubs.
Because they're soft.
It really is.
They won't do it. The
disgusting.
Cardinals will buzz them.
While people like Tony obsess over the Red Sox and the Yankees, how about little DAP, there's that word again, for the Angels? By landing Vladimir Guerrero, they're the most improved team in the league, and they didn't even need a whiz-kid Tiger Beat pinup like Theo Epstein to make it happen.
That's right. You know, you went crazy over the hot stove league as long as it pertains.
No.
Okay.
No, I like it when Derek Lee went to the Cubs.
But the Angels may be the most improved team in baseball in the hot stove.
And you say this because?
The Cubs are in there, okay? There are other teams, and nobody cared about them. We spent all our time on the show talking about a trade that never happened.
What do you make of this signing? Vladimir Guerrero, everybody thought was locked up for the Orioles. But now it turns out, there's a new owner with the Angels, and he is Mexican. And he has signed 3 people at least who speak Spanish. You think there's a coincidence in that? I don't.
Wait a minute, Tony.
don't.
Half the guys in the major league speak Spanish.
I think it may help this owner. I think it may help the owner.
It's going to help. This guy's 28 years old and is a future Hall of Famer.
Bartolo Colon, that helps him too. Jose Guillen helps him too.
Okay, it helps. My God, did you hear the whistle during the last play of the Packers-Eagles game? I know you can't call back-to-back timeouts, but if the whistle blows, isn't the play dead? All right, can we hear this?
Right here next Sunday night.
They're trying to call a timeout. You can't call back-to-back timeouts.
I heard 2 whistles. I heard 2 whistles.
You think they should make the Eagles kick again after that? I barely heard anything. No. I was at the game. I didn't hear anything.
Okay, I was watching on TV, and I did hear it. No, you can't make them kick again because the referees would never get out of Philadelphia alive if they made them kick again. Green Bay lost. Philadelphia beat them ultimately, and Philadelphia deserves that victory.
I got to tell you, when I got home,
I thought Green Bay would win.
Back to Washington today, I started hearing about the whistle. At the game, people were talking about the whistle.
On TV,
and there wasn't any post-game
They're not going to take it down after what happened with Casey. They're not going to take it down. So the Raiders have been stiffed by Denny Green and Mike Mularkey. You guys said you'd apprentice for Al. Why won't anyone else?
I just think people look at the Raiders now, Tony, and even though they got to the Super Bowl last year, people see a franchise that is nowhere close to what it used to be, where Al was a visionary.
Right.
Well, last year, a lot of football people thought was the exception. And that the Raiders just weren't as viable as it used to be. They don't want to go.
Al's a mad scientist. I'd do it for the grins, knowing that in 2 years I would be fired and I would have great stories to tell.
Year.
No, yeah, I'm saying because he's chaotic. In that way, he's sort of like the premier of North Korea. I mean, you could be vapor in an hour.
Pro football coaches don't do anything for the grins, okay? Well, they wouldn't go to a comedy club for the grins. They would go to review the film. That's what they do. The Dolphins named Dan Marino as their general manager today, with his lack of obvious front office experience. Is this an inspired selection or a potential Matt Millen situation?
I'm one of those people who thought Matt Millen was an inspired choice for Detroit. Now that they have no road wins in 3 years, I have to back away from that a little bit. And I think Matt Millen spent a lot more time studying the league and wanting to be a GM. So I am surprised by this in the extreme. He was there, but didn't he retire when Dave Wannstedt was named coach?
That's the other part of this of the surprising part of this announcement. He left when Dave Wannstedt sort of came in, and there was going to be no loyalty from Wannstedt to Dan Marino, as there had been from Jimmy Johnson to Dan Marino. Now,
will Dan Marino fire Dave Wannstedt within a year or so?
No. He went a year or so.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying now.
He's got 1 more year to prove himself, and that's fair. But they extended his contract a couple of years.
You're surprised?
It's a weird set of
circumstances. Aren't you surprised? That means he has to quit TV, right?
2 TV gigs.
Time for a break. Don't go anywhere because we still got to talk about Dick Vermeil, Michelle Kwan, and a special day in the life of Rush Limbaugh, your boy. He needs one, right, Wilbur?
Michelle Kwan. I remember talking about Rush than ice skating.
You don't like the Pixies?
No.
What?
No.
You don't like the dinner
real
mitts?
Sports. Real.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant. And in part by the neighborhood built by MCI. Unlimited local and long distance for one low monthly price.
Happy time, people. Happy 53rd birthday to Rush Limbaugh. I'm sure he's happy 52 is over. Hired in July by ESPN for his outspoken opinions, resigned in October because of his outspoken opinions. Went to rehab for painkiller addiction, under investigation for illegally possessing those painkillers. Meanwhile, he does a great radio show.
While I was at Mitchell and Ness in Philly today, I should have gotten Rush a Donovan McNabb jersey. I blew it.
He'd have loved that. Happy anniversary, Dick Vermeil. On this day 3 years ago, you signed on to become the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. This was Vermeil's first trip to the playoffs with Kansas City. Started the season 9-0, then fell prey to the Kansas City 13-3 playoff curse. Vermeil at 67, the oldest current head coach in the NFL.
As a president, somebody ought to give him a couple of run stuffers and a pass rusher.
Happy trails to Brian Boucher's scoreless streak. Boucher, the backup goalie for the Phoenix Coyotes, went a remarkable 332 minutes and 1 second without allowing a goal. That's more than 5 straight shutouts, and it is now the National Hockey League record. Still possible, though. Boucher is second string behind Sean Burke.
Not for long, and Burke's about 100 years old.
Time to find out what we messed up, stat boy.
Omissions today, guys. The Panthers, they won.
Oh, yeah, we missed
Brett
that.
Favre, the worst interception passes ever in postseason.
Out blitz.
We're in the
Bad
tank
pass.
for Brett Favre.
Bad pass.
Here we go, the big finish.
Let's do it.
Yankees hired former Bulls GM Jerry Krause, your boy, as a scout. Good move?
Not for either one, no. The Pistons have won 8 straight. Oh, why, Tony?
Larry Brown, of course. The Bears are considering Russ Grimm and Lovie Smith for head coach. Pick one.
Lovie, he's a coordinator right now. Gary Anderson retired. Your favorite memory of the Anderson era?
I think when it intersected with the Morton Anderson era, or Father Knows Best Jim Anderson era. Michelle Kwan won the Nationals. Should she go for the gold again in 2006?
Is that figure skating?
Yes, it is.
We don't talk about figure skating on this show.
We should. Time, Tony.
I don't know about that shorthand. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow. Sports Center is next.
PTI. We love Michelle Kwan. She's got the Kwan.
Hey, this is the Rocket, and I'm back in baseball, and Sports Center starts right now.
Hold on there, Rocket. Your return, not the only Hall of Fame homecoming announced today. Sports Center starts right now.